Okay, so thanks a lot, and here we go. Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot for your participation, and thanks to the great IDC team for organizing such event. So I'm Yoann Fortini, indeed Digital Samurai, working for 20 years in the ITS, or now so-called digital industry. And I'm actually head of European ITS go-to-market or business development for Konica Minolta. And again, we are very pleased to attend the IDC CISO Summit for the first time this year. Also, just to clarify this, we are not, or I am not here handling the topic from an internal CISO perspective. I'm not a CISO myself, but facing and answering the customer needs. And just to emphasize, to be emphasized as well, because it's a nice transition, I think, to the Digital Samurai joke, and also because we had some funny discussion during the roundtable. Konica Minolta is not initially a European or an American company, but a Japanese one, which it seems is giving us some unique identity and opportunity, and we are, of course, very proud of it. So it seems I have like 2 or 3 other peers the challenging mission to get the latest of your attention during the latest Tech Talk quarter of the summit. And also I will try to avoid to get too much overlap with the previous session, as indeed the cultural topic has been handled many times. So let's embrace the challenge and see how things will be going. So first of all, why did we choose this session? As I said, I'm actually working for Konica Minolta, and our main customer base today is SMB. Our approach about security topic might be a bit different, maybe from many other stakeholders here, thanks to our main customer segment, but also as outside of MFP business, we are not today directly developing security solution by ourselves, but mostly integrating them together, combining them, consolidating them. And on top of a tech-savvy approach, we observe that Konica Minolta customer value are mostly about accessibility, simplicity, integrated offer, and consolidated ecosystem. So in terms of security, these customers are firstly asking for basic services, and not rocket science, not very advanced thing, but basic services with high level of reliability and simplicity, automation, and so on. And when these foundations are established, then in a second time, highest and more advanced level of security can be addressed. But more importantly, our customers are expecting us to provide package solutions so they can keep focus on core business. So accordingly, in Konica Minolta, we are providing comprehensive and integrated approach of security. And as a part of integrated workplace and business ecosystem first, for example, we can combine digital and physical security. And I think physical security was actually not handled so much so far in the summit. And then we can extend this approach to more solid services such as cybersecurity, security policy, and so on. I think Richard Bennett mentioned yesterday the picture of a broken security with a lot of PCs everywhere and the urgent needs for federation. And Barry McMahon also shows some security result, putting security culture as #1 priority need. And this is exactly what we are willing to address through this session today. So whatever the topic, and this is the main reason why we choose to tackle this topic, whatever the topic, company culture for us is everything and everywhere. And security is not a couple of specific isolated solutions and rules anymore. It should be now fully integrated into daily business, means in company culture. So if you need to transform your company to protect it correctly and to support your business, we think you should inoculate security culture again everywhere. And then we are in the middle of a CISO summit, so security is first of all for CISOs, obviously, but ultimately also for everyone, and at every level, infrastructure, data, human, physical, and so on. And maybe the last introduction point from the cultural topic, we think we can never expect users to be spontaneously aware of security as we would like them to be. People have natural sense of security in the physical world when it's come to hygiene, fear of heights, locked door, and so on. But from what we observe, once being online, the level of caution is sometimes dramatically dropping. And therefore, empathy, mutual understanding, business adoption, and then dedicated world expert analysis and countermeasure are needed. And this is what business owners, so your boss, your user, your customer, ours, are looking for. There's a big buzzword these last months and years, which is digital transformation. And as digital transformation is also firstly a matter of business and people, tech second, we think security should follow the same path, and somehow we believe that security maturity level can be also directly connected to the digital business maturity one. So now the next point, how to make it happen. Our top tip, we prepared a list of best recommendations, how to make the magic happen. And first of all, we would like to emphasize what in our minds need to be avoided. First of all, the blame culture. So the blame culture, which is generally counterproductive, and let's face it, still very present in the security world. But we believe that the blame culture is only encouraging poor security. People should feel comfortable enough to tell you as soon as possible in case of mistake and to report incident, even if they are one of the reasons. Second thing we think we should avoid is supporting bad personal security. We just discussed during the previous session about BIOD. And when by bad personal security, I mean here personal SaaS services on business purpose or out of control BIOD. Flexibility is fine, but of course it doesn't mean losing control. And the last point is about almighty CISO. If we are giving the feeling that everything is fine, but CISO, like all of you today, are looking after everything, we are simply inviting people to feel less responsible and to relax their security efforts. So now our top 10, after these 3 things to avoid, let's move to the promised top 10 list. And our first recommendation here, and this was already discussed yesterday, will be to make security accessible. No rocket science, no black hat. Education with very plain language and adaptability and flexibility so everyone can feel confident, comfortable, accountable. Ultimately, company employees could even suggest their own security initiative if they are confident enough. Yesterday, in the middle of very nice, meaningful metaphor, Yoann mentioned the ideas of simplicity and awareness, and this is exactly what we are talking about here. Second advice, to be concrete. So in the same idea, we recommend you to bring tangible example. They are always the most explicit and persuasive one. Use cases as close as possible to your company activity, your company business. So target people can directly feel concerned and show permanent commitment. And the last one is to provide continual awareness training, or the 2 last one, to provide continual awareness training, less official courses and PowerPoint, more marketing approach, events, training, video, ludification, podcast, and so on. Make it as fun as possible. If possible, we even recommend to nominate BISO, Business Information Security Officer, working hand by hand with CISO, supporting adoption and communication to address resistance. Because we should also face it. We are asking C-suite and users to change to get a better understanding of security, but we should probably also change ourselves, and this cannot happen in one day. If security hasn't been recognized so far as a board priority, reasons are probably coming from a two-way street, including CISO's communication. And I think we should recognize our strengths, but also weaknesses, to team up with good trainer and communicator, and then to make the magic happen at every level. And this is why we are promoting this BISO ID to a lot of our customers. And the last one on that slide, we also recommend everyone to demonstrate what good security look like. Again, instead of being sentinel, soldier, and punisher, we think it's time for CISO to become leaders and communicator. Cybersecurity, is not an obvious thing for user. We are in middle of expert here in that room, but blaming users for something they don't understand is simply meaningless. So we believe security teams should now become ambassadors and champions to be inspirational and followed. Okay, so that's for the first 4 advice. And then, as you maybe noticed, a lot of our recommendations here are about communication, proximity, teamwork, and adoption. But the next point can actually nicely be connected with the introduction of Thomas Mayer yesterday, which was mostly about trust and establishing security hand by hand with customers, which can basically means, by the way, internal and external customer. So through the next 6 advice, we'll go even further, as they are all about partnership. So as just already mentioned, we recommend to partner with employees on shadow IT, and also linking to the previous question by the end of the previous session. No letting go, but also no rebuking, which means simply inviting users to find another way to bypass. I think we shouldn't underestimate users' creativity in that case, and as we know, there is always a way. So let's be smarter and flexible about this. For example, by allowing external but also low-risk application instead of blocking everything everywhere, and at the end, I believe, opening a higher risk. Then we are inviting you to partner with the youngest, the digital native, because the digital native today are maybe among the most aware of cybersecurity risk, but also one of the most exposed. So up to us, up to you to make them your biggest threat or your best ambassadors in your security community. And the last one, we think CISO should also partner with finance and legal. Financial data are prime target for cyber attack today, still easily transferable, exploitable, and any security policy is linked with legal aspect anyway. So the closer you are with your financial legal department, and we think the better it will be. So let's continue. Next partnership we would like to mention here, is about human resource. So okay, that one is pretty classic one. Company culture and employee training are first of all HR topic, but moreover social engineering remains a big threat. Company HR should get specific CISO attention and ad hoc security policy, which could even be built together again hand by hand. We also think you can partner with business and Marcom, for example, for a very specific reason. Especially these days, the availability of digital channels such as corporate website or e-commerce platform are getting more and more critical for business continuity, while this channel can also directly be exposed to attacks such as DDoS and so on. And the last recommendation of our top 10 advice will be again to partner, and this time with manufacturing and supply chain, if there is some in your company, of course. Because industrial production chain and distribution lines are nowadays fully under IT management, including IoT and ecosystem. The same way that Jean-Christophe Mathieu emphasized yesterday, also talking about industrial diversity. It's a pretty different world than usual IT ecosystem, than usual workplace, and the best way to properly secure this critical part of the business operation is first of all to understand them the best way. So let's have a small break after this non-stop briefing, top 10 recommendation. So not all the previous recommendations are on the slide, and please take this, the poll, so the poll should be active now, I believe. Please take it as a summary, and we would like to get some even more additional insight by getting your opinion about which one got your best attention here, the one you might be already thinking about implementing tomorrow. And here we have the accessibility point, the BISO concept, and the multiple partnership as well. And if your mind is already thinking about something totally different, there is the last option, and we'll be happy to hear more about it later on, for example, during the roundtable, just after this session. So we are almost done now, and I guess the watch is telling me I'm a bit behind the schedule, so I will accelerate a bit. Some last word about the elephant in the room, the COVID-19 pandemic, how we observe it in Konica Minolta, and how the situation impacted business and especially security world. Biggest change we observed here, I think no surprise for everyone, and some of them are already, firstly, the working and the leadership behavior, mostly relying on virtual and remote. And again, all of them are based on human awareness and company culture. So in that sense, COVID-19 was not only a disruptor in security area, but also an accelerator. From a more technical perspective, we all noticed a serious spikes in mail spam, like ransomware attack, phishing attack, and so on. Means business are targeted, but not only. Ultimately, again, it's a human thing. Ultimately, the end user are the main target. And finally, all these points are now pushing customers to a challenging paradox. Security has high priority on one hand and more than ever, but less company budget for investment for obvious economical reasons. So our recommended solution here would be simply work with external partner, accept again a partnership externally to deal properly with your security. Okay, so just a couple of messages. That was probably a lot already. Please let me quickly go through this slide. I will not read everything, but then the deck will be shared afterwards anyway. But this slide is just to tell you again, and if needed, that all these recommendations, the top tip here, are not only coming from our marketing department, but the direct translation of our customer voice and needs. So on that one, we got 4 examples. We just put them on the screen and quickly commented them. You will get the slide afterwards. First one about cottage building, and we think this is a good example of what we said at the beginning, that our customers today are not first of all, asking for rocket science in terms of security, but mostly consolidated, interconnected IT ecosystem, including security, underpinning everything. Second example, healthcare French customer, ADP laboratory. And in that case, one of the interesting things is how security is becoming a game changer, how the security change the value and the storytelling to customer. We also are vary from Scandinavian countries, and which decided to appoint us as an external partner for security. And finally, Sporong and Ericsson from Sweden, which actually I think is sharing probably a very nice marketing quote also for the summit, like this one a lot. When business is personal, time is money, and security is paramount. Showing us again how security should unleash business and not lock it. So last slide for me now, the conclusion, and I think the title is somehow saying everything. Security, lead it or leave it. You can find a kind of overarching summary of a previous headline. So first, security by itself is definitely not a goal, but a means to ensure business continuity and even to optimize business performance. Ultimately, by providing a sense of security to improve user confidence, well-being, and performance. Second point here, business strategy and security strategy should be connected, again, more than ever. Second one, and we said it many times already, should enable and accelerate the first one, not lock it. And at last, accordingly, and message for all of you, but we strongly believe, CISOs can play definitely a significant role in this new world by shifting their scope from direct team to company as a whole, by establishing a new agile security leadership style, and by directly impacting the future of work. So stealing a bit of words of Duncan Brown from yesterday, we also see CISOs as becoming the new business orchestrator. So that's it. We hope you enjoyed the presentation. Some point here might sound like common sense and reminder, and some of them may be a bit innovative. If you found one, two, or even more useful and thoughtful recommendation, this will make us very happy already. And I think now it should be time for some quick question and probably transition to the roundtable.